Welcome back to another Outlaw walkthrough. So today we are going to be focusing on how to set up the connection from your Outlaw to your Filevine so you can start generating documents in Filevine using your Outlaw templates, and how to code your templates using the Filevine connected variables, or known as FVDA. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, when you are coding your templates, you will need to be in the template section, and you can already obviously use one of your existing ones. Maybe you still have ones you're working on, or you can upload using blank existing or upload options. So those are all options when you are first building your template. Let's go ahead and jump into this test and discuss this more. So this first thing opens up. I've already been working in this template. That's why you can see these various changes. You can see I have already added what we will call a connected variable. This is going to be something that's tied directly to your Filevine so that when you generate a document, it's basically like a replacement or merge field in your current Filevine when you're using like a DocGen or Fusion, and it's automatically going to pull in the data that's associated with that field in your Filevine and fill it in here in this document. So as you can see here, I've already added this in. You will see that this is grayed out. That means that currently that connected variable is either not connected or it's not working properly, because when a Filevine connected variable is connected and added into a template and ready for use, it's going to be highlighted in like this teal color. So let's go ahead and jump in and try to figure out what's going on there. I already know because I went in and I disabled basically the connection for Filevine so that we could set it up together. So that is why this one is showing as gray. So if you want to go ahead and connect your Filevine to your Outlaw template, you're going to need to come in here and you're going to toggle over to connections. From here, you're going to go ahead and set up your connection here. You're going to choose which template you want to connect it to. Each template can only be connected to each Outlaw template can only be connected to one Filevine template. So say you have maybe a client engagement letter or some sort of like fee agreement that you have for multiple case types and across your different templates, you would need to come in here and you would basically need to make a duplicate and connect one to your one template. Maybe that's personal injury, and another one maybe to your estate planning or criminal template, something like that, so that you can use that same language and code that template throughout different Filevine templates as well. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. The one I connect to down here is our Outlaw one. This is strictly just for our testing in our sandbox. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that there. Once you connect this, you're going to be able to choose which section you want to connect this to. The nice thing about Outlaw is that it's very dynamic in the sense that you can pull in from the contact card, from static sections, from collection sections. So it's doesn't really matter necessarily where you want this to connect to, but I like to think about it as wherever you want to have the actual widget for Outlaw in your Filevine is where you should be connecting this section to. So for this instance, we're just going to go ahead and connect it to case summary. I just run some test ones out of there so we can do that. Once you have all that set up, that is basically all you need to make the connection from your Outlaw to your Filevine. However, you can go one step further, and if you want to, you can use this proofing ID right here. And basically what this is going to do is if you want to maybe test your document and you don't want it to show up on other, projects, you can put in a specific project ID in Filevine. So then you have the ability to preview that document using that specific project's information. So if you wanted to do that, we're already in this project here. You could just come here, copy this number, and then we could come back over here and paste it in if we just wanted to test on that specific project. For the most part, it's obviously up to you how you want to do things, but I typically don't put in a proofing ID and I'm good just testing it as is. But it's nice to have that option as well. Then you would just hit create. You will see here that says fields have loaded. That means that you are good to go and your connection is ready to use. If it says anything other than that, usually it'll give you an error of some sort. You'll have to retry this connection again because it didn't actually physically connect to your Filevine, so you're not going to be able to pull in your connected codes. So then the next thing here, maybe we want to start a new paragraph and practice pulling in some new connected codes. So we can go ahead and hit enter. This is going to make a new paragraph. Basically, that's what happens anytime you hit enter. And the thing with paragraphs in Outlaw is that they all have a paragraph title. When you start typing this, you will see that it's automatically bolded. This plays into effect in the themes that we set up in another video. So if you don't want your your paragraph headers to ever be bolded, you can also go and change that in themes. But right now, the theme we're using, it's already set up like this, so we'll go ahead and use that. And then maybe you don't want a paragraph header, just because you will notice here, if I want to add in a variable, whether it be a Filevine connected variable, a party variable, or just a regular variable, I would first add in a bracket like this. And then typically a row of information will pop up and I can choose the variable I want from there. So that would look something like this. I can have my variable, party, secret, or connected. However, when you're working on the project title, you can't actually put a variable in the title there. So, if you wanted to have this document still be bolded, you wanted this test, and then I wanted to put in some sort of Filevine connected variable here, that's fine. I can still come over here and I can bold this, and then I can just get rid of this title so that, you're able to put that in, which is an option too. So now it looks like I have a title. I can hit these brackets here, and actually let me get rid of this so we're not like superimposing it on there. All right, perfect. So like I was saying before, when you want to enter a variable for the first time, you would hit the bracket here. This is going to come up with a few options. Just for today, we're going to be focusing on the connected variables that are going to be tied to your Filevine. So we would come in here and you can either select from this dropdown, you can select connected. Or if you want, you can go ahead and hit the plus sign FV, so we know it's coming from Filevine. And then you would want to do an underscore. And then you'll see now that I have all of these different fields that are tied, that are actual fields in my Filevine that are now pulling in. So you can see, if you look here, this is saying it's pulling in from Filevine. This section in Filevine is intake. And the field name in that Filevine intake is rental options and, own/liability/none. So you can see here that like all of these are pulling in from the intake. If I do a quick scroll down, or if I started typing in one of my other sections that I know exist in my Filevine, like case summary, you'll see that this starts popping up as well. So from here, if I wanted to add in a specific one, maybe I want to add in the, accident type or incident type, case type from our intake, I can start typing this in. And you will see that it's going to start narrowing down my fields based on what I typed in. So I would come up here and I would say, yep, this is the one I want. I want accident type. And then you can see that this just glows teal, and that means that we successfully added in our Filevine connected variable. You can see the one that when we first started making this connection over here, this one was gray, but now that we've connected to Filevine, everything's good, everything's teal. So we can just keep on adding in more variables if we like. If you want to pull one in from your med section, maybe we want to do, let's see, medical. So we can pull things in here, and I think it's actually med section. We can click into meds, and then we can go from there and just start pulling in. Maybe we want to pull in the provider name. And now this is a great example because the provider field in our Filevine, if we go take a look over here, let's go ahead and close out of that. Our provider up here in our Filevine is a contact card. So if we click into here, we're going to be able to pull in any of this information that is in there, as well as, this additional info and different things like that. So we're going to be able to pull in that information. So let's head back over to our template here. So maybe for this one, we just want to pull in the full name. And then we maybe want to pull in, let's do another one, and we're going to pull in provider, and let's do the birth date. And then also noticing when you do a date, you have a few different options of how you can format it. So you can do a standard prose, the verbose, a very long language. You can do unformatted, and then you can, do the month, the day, the week, the year, and all that and pull it in. But we're going to pull in just her generic one there. So this is great. You might be thinking, okay, these are all gray now. That means they're not ready to use, but they are. Typically when you're just coding in one paragraph and adding in all these ones, you just have to hit enter. And when I move down to my next paragraph, they are now all teal and ready to be used. So that is how you add in a Filevine connected variable and how you connect it back to your Filevine. So I hope this video was helpful.